so Articles 324 to 329 in Part 15 of the Constitution deal with electoral system in India. Okay, so the Constitution provides for an independent election commission in order to ensure free and fair elections. Okay, so in Article 324, our Constitution mentions about Election Commission of India. Okay, so from Article 324 to 329, this election system, okay, so is explained in Part 15 of the Constitution. Okay, so Election Commission is the constitutional body which conduct elections in our country in free and fair manner. Okay, so there is to be only one general electoral roll for every territorial constituency for election to the parliament and state legislature. Okay, so electoral roll means voters list will be prepared by the Election Commission of India, and it is used for both parliament elections and also state legislature elections. Okay, so no person is to be ineligible for inclusion in the electoral roll on grounds of religion, race, caste, gender, or any of them. Okay, so every voter or every person who attained the age of 18 years is eligible for voting. Okay, so they will be included in electoral roll and they will not be discriminated on any grounds of religion, race, caste, gender, or any of them. Okay, so the elections to the Lok Sabha and state legislative assemblies are to be on the basis of adult franchise. Okay, so whoever attains the age of 18 years may be called as adult and they will have franchise. Okay, so franchise means right to vote. Okay, they will attain right to vote at the age of 18 years. Okay, so in our country, and this is the election system in India. And next, the parliament may make provision with respect to all matters relating to elections to the parliament and state legislature. Okay, so the parliament will make provisions with respect to all matters relating to elections to the parliament and state legislature. Okay, so the parliament will make laws regarding the elections to parliament and also state legislatures. Okay, the state legislature can also make provision with respect to all matters relating to elections to the state legislatures, including the preparation of nominal rolls. Okay, the state legislatures will also make laws regarding elections in their states. Okay, so to the state legislatures, including the preparation of nominal rolls. Okay, the Constitution declares that the validity of any law relating to the delimitation of constituencies or the allotment of seats to such constituencies cannot be questioned in any court of law. Okay, so the Constitution declares the validity of any law, okay, relating to the delimitation of constituencies. Okay, so constituencies will be delimited for every 10 years and the allotment of seats to such constituencies cannot be questioned in any court. Okay, so this delimitation or allotment of seats will not be questioned in any court of law. Okay, so the decision taken by the Election Commission of India in the delimitation of constituencies will be the final. It cannot be questioned in any court of law. The Constitution lays down that no elections to the Parliament or state legislature is to be questioned except by an election presented to such authority and in such manner as provided by the appropriated legislature. Okay, so the Constitution lays down that no elections to the Parliament or state legislature is to be questioned, okay, except by an election presented to such authority and in such manner as provided by the appropriated legislature. Okay, so next, coming to the features of Indian election system. Okay, so let us learn about the features of Indian election system. Okay, so first one is direct election of representatives. Okay, so in our country, representatives are elected directly. Okay, so they are members of Lok Sabha. That means they can be called as MPs, member of parliament, and state legislative assemblies. They are called as MLAs, member of legislative assembly, and MLCs also. Okay, so a member of legislative council and municipalities and village panchayats. Okay, so these are the members who are elected directly by the people. Okay, so these are the representatives who are elected directly by the people. And next one is indirect election of representatives. So in our country, there is also indirect election to those representatives to Rajya Sabha. Okay, so member of Rajya Sabha. Okay, so members of Rajya Sabha are elected indirectly by the people, and also state legislative council. So they are called as MLCs. Okay, so MLCs, MPs of Rajya Sabha and President and Vice President. Okay, so these members are elected indirectly by the people. That means they are elected by the representatives. Okay, so these representatives are elected by the people, and those representatives, that means MLAs, MPs, will participate in the elections of President, Vice President, Rajya Sabha members of Rajya Sabha, and members of Legislative Council. Okay, so third feature is universal adult franchise. So in our country, universal adult franchise is followed. So voting age reduced to 18 years from 21 years. Okay, so in our country, previously the voting age is 21 years, but now it is reduced to 18 years. Okay, so reservation of seats for SCs and STs. Okay, so this is another feature of Indian election system. So in our country, reservation system is followed in elections also for SCs, STs. Okay, so Articles 330 and 332 provide reservation to Lok Sabha and state legislative assemblies. Okay, so for state assemblies and Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha, the reservation is followed for SC category, scheduled caste and scheduled tribal people. Okay, so next, provision for nominations. Okay, so next feature of Indian election system is provision of nomination. So Article 337 provides nomination of 2 Anglo-Indians by the President to Lok Sabha and 1 Anglo-Indian to the State Legislative Assembly by the Governor. So these nominated members are not elected members. They are directly appointed by the President and Governor. Okay, so at the central level or for the Union, for the Parliament, President will nominate 2 members to Lok Sabha. Okay, so for Lok Sabha, 2 Anglo-Indians will be nominated, and for Rajya Sabha, 12 members will be nominated. Okay, so at the state level, for state legislatures, Governor will nominate 1 Anglo-Indian, okay, to the State Legislative Assembly. Okay, so that is about nominated persons. And next feature is regular revision of electoral rolls. So electoral rolls are nothing but voters list, and these are revised. Okay, so these are revised regularly because new voters will be added, and demised persons, okay, dead voters will be removed or deleted from the electoral rolls. Okay, so that is why regular revision of electoral rolls will be conducted by Election Commission of India. The Election Commission revises the electoral rolls for every 10 years. Okay, so for every 10 years, these electoral rolls or voting list will be revised. Okay, so in our country. And next feature is territorial and single member constituencies. Okay, so our country is divided into constituencies. So from every constituency, representatives will be elected. So every state is divided into territorial constituencies for parliament and state legislative assemblies. Okay, so for state legislative assemblies and parliament, there are different constituencies. Okay, delimitation of constituencies. Okay, so next feature is delimitation of constituencies. So these constituencies will also be delimited by the Election Commission of India for every 10 years. So after every census will be conducted for every 10 years, and after conducting every census, the boundaries of the constituencies are delimited. Okay, that means they will be changed. Okay, so ninth feature is secret ballot. Okay, so in India, elections are conducted through secret ballot system. Okay, so voters exercise their right to vote in the elections through secret ballot system. That means the voters will elect the representative secretly. Okay, so they will not disclose their representatives. Okay, whoever they are voting. Okay, so next, introduction of EVMs, electronic voting machines. So this is another feature of Indian election system. The election system introduced EVMs for casting vote in the elections. Okay, so before the introduction of EVMs, ballot paper is used in elections. Okay, so now Election Commission of India using these EVMs in the elections. Okay, so these are electronic voting machines. And relative majority of vote system. Okay, so in the Indian election system, so relative majority of vote system is followed. Okay, so what is relative majority of vote system is the candidate who secures more votes than other contestants is declared as elected representative in the election. Okay, so in the elections, representatives or contestants will be participating, and the contestant who gets more number of votes. Okay, so who secures more votes than other candidates will be declared as winner in the elections. Okay, so will be declared as a winner in the elections, or he is elected, declared as elected representative. Okay, so next, independent missionary for the conduct of elections in India. So that is another feature. So Article 324 deals with Election Commission which conducts elections. Okay, so Election Commission of India is a constitutional body which is mentioned in Article 324, and it is its responsibility to conduct elections for both the parliament as well as state legislatures in our country. Okay, so next topic is methods of election. So let us learn about methods of election. There are two methods of election. Okay, so first one is first past the post system, and second one is proportional representation system. So what is FPTP means? The winning candidate need not to secure a majority of votes but has to secure more votes than all contestants in the elections. Okay, so that is known as first past the post system. Okay, so in the elections, the contestants has to get or has to secure more votes than all contestants. Okay, so they will be declared as a winning candidate. That is called as FPTP. And second method of election is proportional representation system. So in our country, this system is also followed. So every party gets representation in accordance with its voting strength, and it means majority of electors would have majority of representatives and minority of electors would have minority representatives. Okay, so proportional representation system means so every party is getting representation in accordance with its voting strength. Okay, so every party will get representation according to its voting strength, and it means majority of electors would have majority of representatives. Okay, so the party which secures more number of seats will have majority of representatives, and which secures less number of seats will be having less or minority representatives in the legislatures. Okay, so next one is election process. Okay, so let us learn about election process in our country. So the election process consists of the following stages. Okay, so elections is a big and a lengthy process. Okay, so conducting elections is a very complicated process, and it is conducted by the Election Commission of India. There are so many stages in the elections. Okay, so this is election process, and first one is delimitation of constituencies. Okay, the first stage of elections is delimitation of constituencies, and these constituencies will be delimited for every 10 years. Okay, so next, recognition of political parties. So our country is a multi-party system. So many parties are established in our country, and for these parties, the Election Commission of India will give recognition, and these recognized political parties will participate in the elections. Okay, so next one is photo identity cards. Okay, so photo ID cards will be issued by Election Commission of India to the voters. Okay, so next one is electoral rolls. This is a voters list. So voters list is prepared by Election Commission of India before the conducting of elections. And next, notification and appointment of returning officers. Okay, so for the election process, for conducting the elections, Election Commission of India will appoint returning officers. Okay, so these officers are responsible for conducting elections. Okay, next, filing of nomination papers. So this will be done by the contestants. Okay, so in the elections, contestants will be there from many different political parties, and they will file nomination papers. Okay, so they will file nomination papers in the elections, parliament as well as state legislatures. Okay, so for MLAs and for MPs. Okay, so MPs election. And next, scrutiny of nomination papers. Okay, so after the application. Okay, so nominations are nothing but applications. Okay, so they will apply for in the election process. Okay, so they will contest as an MP or they will contest as an MLA, and these applications or these nominations will be scrutinized. Okay, so will be checked by the Election Commission of India or returning officers. Okay, so these returning officers will check the nomination papers, whether they have these nomination papers are filled properly or not. And next stage is withdraw nominations. Okay, so there will be some time. Okay, so during that, before that time, they have to withdraw the contestants. If they are not interested, they can withdraw their applications or they can withdraw their nomination papers. Okay, so that is one stage. And next stage is election campaign. So after the scrutiny, after the withdrawal of the nominations, okay, there will be only final candidates who contest in the elections, and those candidates will start campaigning. Okay, so will start campaigning in their constituencies. And next, electronic voting missions. So this is another stage. So after campaigning, okay, so elections day will be decided by the Election Commission of India. Okay, so on that election day or polling day, okay, so electronic voting machines will be used for voting. Okay, so voting by the voters, so EVMs are used. And next, polling of votes. Okay, so through these EVMs or electronic voting machines, polling will be conducted. Okay, so polling officers will be appointed by the Election Commission of India, and supervision of elections by observers. So not only polling officers, POs, APOs, and OPOs will be there. Okay, so polling presiding officer, assistant presiding officer, other polling officers will be there for every polling booth. Okay, so in addition to them, government will also appoint observers. Okay, so observers in the elections. And next, media coverage will also be there. So in complicated or very difficult constituencies or polling booths, media coverage is compulsory. Okay, so webcasting will be there, and counting of votes and declaration of votes. So after conducting elections, next process is counting of votes. So that day is also decided by the Election Commission, and declaration of votes. So during that counting day itself, results will be declared. Okay, so because the EVMs are EVM with the help of EVMs, declaration of results was made very easy and fast and the process. And next, election petitions. Okay, so during the polling of votes or during the election day, some incidents. Some incidents may happen. That means disturbance to the elections and other illegal election offences will be happened. So for those complaints will be filed to Election Commission of India, and those election petitions will also be considered. And in that observation or in that inquiry, if it is known that it is proved that it is true, that offence or election misbehavior or offences, so those elections will be cancelled, and fresh elections or new election will be conducted in those polling booths or constituencies. Okay, so this decision will be taken by Election Commission of India after the inquiry. Okay, so next one is corrupt practices in elections. Okay, so in elections, some corrupt practices will also be practiced. So let us learn what are the corrupt practices, general corrupt practices in our country. And first one is bribing a person to induce him or her to stand or not to stand as a candidate. So this will happen after the filing of nomination papers. Okay, so some persons will be bribed. Okay, so if more number of competitors are there, some persons will bribe those contestants. Okay, so then they will withdraw their nominations. Okay, so that will happen. And next, bribing a voter with distribution of money or material for casting or not casting his vote, or casting him or her vote for a particular candidate. Okay, so first one is bribing a person who is a contestant, and here second one is bribing a voter. Okay, so he is a participant in the voting system, and voter will also be bribed through money or material. Okay, so to cast the vote in favor of him or not to cast his vote. Okay, so next one is interference with free exercise of anybody's electoral right. So next corrupt practice is, so they will influence the voter. Okay, so if a voter is having a right to vote for any person, but if he is influenced, that then the impact of that person will be there on the voter in casting his vote. And next, threat with injury of any kind, including social ostracism, excommunication, divine displeasure, or spiritual censure. Okay, so threat will also be there for both the contestants and also voters. Okay, so by the some political parties or by some contestants or some other persons. Okay, so next, appeal on grounds of religion, caste, community, or language, or the use of religious or national symbol. So in our country, there are so many castes, religions. Okay, so communities, languages. Okay, so that is why the contestants will also appeal the voters. So based on religion, caste, community, language. Okay. So next, publication of false statement about personal character and conduct of any candidate. Okay, so the contestants or the participants in the elections will give or will declare the false statements about the other contestants. Okay, so about their personal character or conduct of any candidate. Okay, so next one is hiring or procuring of vehicles for free conveyance of voters. So some political parties will provide free transportation to the voters to the polling booths. Okay, so this is also a corrupt practice. And next, incurring of election expenditure by a candidate in excess of the prescribed limit. Okay, so for election campaigning, every contestant will spend some money. Okay, so there is limitation for this expenditure also, that is called election expenditure. And if almost all the contestants will spend or will incur the election expenditure more than the prescribed limit. And if any candidate is spent more than the excess of prescribed limit, then the Election Commission of India will take action according to its rules. Okay, so next one is booth capturing. Okay, so this is another practice in elections. Okay, so polling booths will also be captured by some political parties, and they will influence the voters and also polling officers to vote in favor of them. Okay, so that is booth capturing. And next, electoral offences. Okay, so these are electoral crimes. Okay, so what crimes will be done during elections? Let us discuss one by one. And first one is promoting enmity between classes or grounds of religion, race, community, or language. Okay, so during elections, people or political parties will create enmity. Okay, so will create enmity on grounds of religion, race, community, or language. So next of electoral offence is convening, holding, or attending any public meeting during 48 hours before the end of poll. Okay, so this is the rule given by the Election Commission of India before the end of poll. 48 hours before the end of poll, no meeting should be convened. Okay, so no holding or attending any public meeting should be there. So if any political party arranges meeting before 48 hours before the end of the poll, that will be considered as electoral offence. So next, causing disturbance at election meetings. Okay, so if one political party arranges a election meeting, then another political party will create disturbance and will also disrupt the election meetings. Okay, so this will also considered as electoral offence. And printing of election pamphlets, posters, etc. without printers or publishers' names and addresses. So election pamphlets should be printed with their names and with the publishers' names and addresses. If they are not printed with the names and addresses, then it will also be considered as electoral offence. And next, violation of maintenance of secrecy of vote. Okay, so in the polling booth, the voter is provided to vote his vote in secretly. Okay, so that will be a very, very important condition. And if it is violated, then it is also considered as electoral offence. And next, influencing of voting by officials connected with the conduct of elections and police personnel. Okay, so the officials who conduct elections in the polling booths, they will also be influenced or they will also be threatened, and police people or police personnel will also be threatened. So if it is proved, then action will be taken on the people who are concerned for it. Okay, next, disorderly conduct and disturbance in or near a polling station, indulging use of loudspeakers, etc. So, near the polling booth, no one should make a loud noise. Okay, so during near the polling station. Okay, so using loudspeakers or creating so many disturbances should not be there. And canvassing within 100 meters of a polling station on the day of poll. So during the polling day, canvassing should not be conducted. Okay, so within 100 meters of distance. And next, misconduct at the polling station or failure to obey the lawful direction of the presiding officer. Okay, so misconducting in the polling station. So in the polling station, presiding officer will be the head of the polling booth, and he will conduct the election according to the rules and regulations given by the Election Commission of India. And if he disobeys or if he misbehaves and if he is not conducting, and it is also considered as electoral offence. And illegal hiring or procuring of vehicles for conveying voters to and from polling stations. That means the transportation of voters to the polling booths. Okay, so it will also be considered as electoral offence. And next, unlawful removal of ballot papers or EVMs from the polling stations. Okay, so nobody should touch ballot papers or electronic voting machines. Okay, so other persons, the persons who are not related to the polling officials. Okay, so if they do any illegal things or touching or removing the ballot papers or EVMs, then it is also considered as electoral offence. And next one is booth capturing. Okay, so if polling booth is influenced or threatened by any political party or any other person, then it will also be considered as electoral offence. Okay, so next one is breach of official duty. That means the disobedience. Okay, disobedience of official duty. So the officials who are appointed as a polling officials should obey the rules and regulations given by the Election Commission of India. So if they violated, then it will be considered as breach. Okay, so let us see. So what is the breach of official duty? So breach of official duty in connection with preparation, revision or correction of electoral roll, or the inclusion or exclusion of any entry in or from the roll. Okay, so that can be considered as breach or disobeying official duty. Okay, revision of correction of electoral rolls or in the preparation of electoral rolls. Okay, so next, non-maintenance of secrecy of voting. Okay, so during elections in the polling booth, secret voting will be followed, should be followed. So if it is breached or if it is violated, then it is considered as breach of official duty. And next, any acts of officers at election for the furtherance of the prospects of the election of a candidate and breaches of official duty assigned in connection with the conduct of elections and acting as election agent by government servants. So especially government officers or government employees should not work as election agents. Okay, so they should not work for any political party. So it is also breach of official duty and they should be impartial. And next, act of both booth capturing committed by a person in the service of the government. So if a government servant or a government official or government employee is a part and parcel of booth capturing, then it will also be considered as breach of official duty. So action will be taken on that particular employee. Okay, so next, representation by parties in Lok Sabha. Okay, so these are the elections which are conducted in from first election to 17th elections. So to the Lok Sabha. So first elections to Lok Sabha was conducted in 1952 and second one is in 1957 and third one is 1962 and fourth elections were conducted in 1967 and fifth elections in 1971. Okay, so during these 5 elections, Congress party won in the election. So it won a majority of seats and that is why it formed the government at the union level. And next, 6th elections in 1977. This is the first non-Congress government. So it was formed by Janata Party. And next, and in 7th elections 1980, and 8th elections in 1984, and in 9th elections 1989 again, and also in 10th elections in 1991. Congress party again won in the Lok Sabha elections, and it formed the government at the union level. And next in 11th elections 1996, BJP party formed the government, and in 12th elections in 1988 again BJP party, and in 13th elections 1999, so again BJP party, and in 14th elections in 2004, and in 15th elections in 2019 again Congress party won in the won majority seats in the Lok Sabha, so that is why it formed the government. And next 16th elections and in 17th elections, BJP party won in the Lok Sabha elections, so that is why it formed the government. Okay, so next one is succession of Chief Election Commissioners of India. Okay, so these are the election commissioners from first commissioner to present commissioner. So let us read out their names. Okay, so who are the Chief Election Commissioners of India? Okay, so first one is first Election Commissioner of India after getting independence is Sukumar Sen, and next Sundaram, and next Sen Verma, Nagendra Singh, Swaminathan, S.L. Shakdhar, and R.K. Trivedi, and Peri Shastri, Ramadevi, T.N. Sheshan, M.S. Gill, and next J.M. Lingdo, and T.S. Krishnamurthy, and B.B. Tandon, and next Gopal Swami, Naveen Chawla, Qureshi, V.S. Sampath, and H.S. Brahma, Najim Ahmed Zaidi, Al Kumar, Jyoti, and Om Prakash Rawat. Okay, so these are the election commissioners of India till now. Okay, so let us learn about the representation. Okay, so what is representation? And the representation system originated in Middle Ages. Okay, so this representation system originated in Middle Ages. Okay, so in democracy, people elect members to the legislatures. The elected members are the representatives of the people. This process is called the representation. Okay, so in the democracy, people will elect rulers. Okay, so those can be called as representatives. Okay, so they are elected members by the people itself, and this system is called as a representation. Okay, so these representatives are accountable to the people because they are elected by the people, and they will work for the welfare of the people. And there are the three theories of representation. They are primitive tribal theory, feudal theory, and ethical theory. Okay, so during ancient period, primitive tribal theory is there, and during in the tribals during the primitive tribal theory, so one person will be elected, or one person will be selected as a head of the tribe. Okay, so then that person will rule that tribe. Okay, so whatever he says, whatever he makes rules, they will be followed by those tribal people. And next, feudal theory. So this is followed in medieval period or Middle Ages, and feudalistic system, that means landlordism. Okay, so the landlords are makers of laws during Middle Ages. And ethical theory. So this is a modern theory. So this ethical theory is in vogue in democratic countries. Okay, so these are the three theories of representation, and let us learn about the methods of representation. Okay, so there are three methods of representation, and that means with these three methods, representatives are elected in the democratic countries. Okay, so first one is territorial representation, second one is functional representation, third one is plural representation. Okay, so let us learn about first representation, that is territorial representation. Okay, so in this territorial representation, the total electorate is divided into territorial units called constituencies. So in our country, this territorial representation is followed. So our country is divided into territorial units. Okay, so 543 territorial constituencies are divided, and from every constituency, one representative or one member will be elected. Okay, so one representative is elected from one constituency, also known as single member constituency. Okay, so from every constituency, only one member will be elected. Okay, so contestants may be more, but only one person will be declared as elected person. Okay, so whoever gets the majority of votes. Okay, so more number of votes will be declared as a elected person from that constituency. And if more than one representative is elected from one constituency, then it is called as multi-member constituency. Okay, so in our country, we are having only single member constituencies. There are also multi-member constituencies. That means from every constituency, more than one member will be elected. Okay, so that is called as multi-member constituency. So most of the democratic countries are following single-member constituency system. And next one is functional representation. Okay, so what is functional representation? Means representation is based on occupation. Okay, like farmers, doctors, lawyers, teachers, traders, industrial workers, etc. So first representation is territorial representation. That means every territory is divided into some constituencies, and in this representation, constituencies not divided not as constituencies, but members are elected based on their occupations. Okay, so for farmers, one member, for doctors, one member, for lawyers, one representative, for teachers, one representative, for traders, one representative, for industrial workers, one representative. That means representatives are elected based on their occupation. So that is known as functional representation, and a legislature representing different occupational groups would be proper forum where different interests would be projected. Okay, so actually functional representation is a best method of representation, but in practice, it may not be possible. Okay, so for implementation, this functional representation will be very difficult. Because why? Because means, but it is not possible to provide representation to every occupation. Okay, so that is why functional representation is not followed in any country. So that though it is looking good. And next one is plural representation. Okay, so what is plural representation? Means plural representation provides more than one vote to one voter on the basis of electoral and professional qualifications. That means the one voter will be provided more than one voter. Okay, so not one vote to one voter. So one voter, more votes. Okay, so that is called as plural representation, and this system is not accepted by modern democratic countries, but accepted one man, one vote system. So though it is a representation, but it is not followed by any democratic country in the world. Okay, so only one man, one vote system is followed by all the democratic countries. And next, coming to the Election Commission in India. Okay, so let us learn about the Election Commission in India. So Article 324 provides the Election Commission to conduct and supervise the elections of Parliament and state legislature, president and vice president. Okay, so this Election Commission of India will conduct elections to Parliament, state legislature, presidential elections and vice presidential elections. And Election Commission of India is a permanent, autonomous, constitutional and independent body. So it is a constitutional body, and it is autonomous body, and it is a permanent body, and it is independent body, which is mentioned in the constitution. Okay, so that is why constitutional body. So next, coming to the composition. So what is the composition of Election Commission? Election Commission of India was single member body since its inception 1950 to 15th October 1989. Okay, so from 1950 to 1989, so it was a single member body. And next, on 16th October, the President of India appointed 2 more election commissioners for the Election Commission. Since 1989, it became multi-member body with 3 election commissioners. Okay, so from 1989 onwards. And next, tenure. So what is the tenure of these election commissioners? The chief election commissioner and other commissioners hold office for a term of 6 years or until they attain the age of 65 years. Okay, so their superannuation is 65 years, and they will work in the office. So once they are appointed, they can work for 6 years. So whichever comes early, that will be considered. Okay, so either for 6 years or for 65 years, they will work. And they can be removed by the President on the basis of resolution passed by both the houses of Parliament with special majority or 2/3 majority on grounds of proved misbehavior or incapacity. Okay, so they are appointed by the President, and they can also be removed by the President of India. So on the basis of resolution passed by both the houses of Parliament with 2/3 of majority. Okay, so that is the procedure of removal of election commissioners. And next, appointment. Okay, so how these election commissioners will be appointed means at the union level, the chief election commissioner and the other commissioners are appointed by the president. At the state level, the election commission is assisted by the chief electoral officer who is appointed by the chief election commissioner in consultation with the state government. Okay, so at the district level, the collector acts as the district returning officer. He appoints a returning officer for every constituency in the district and presiding officer for every polling booth in the constituency. Okay, so these election commissioners are appointed by the President of India, and let us learn about the powers and functions of Election Commission of India. Okay, so what powers and functions are enjoyed by Election Commission of India means it prepares all periodically revised electoral rolls. Preparation of electoral rolls is very important function. And next, it takes every effort to ensure that the voters list is free of errors like non-existence of names of registered voters or existence of names of that non-eligible or non-existence. Okay, so next, it notifies the dates and schedules of election and scrutinizes nomination papers. Okay, so dates are fixed by the Election Commission of India, and scrutinization of election papers or nomination papers will be conducted, and during this entire process the election commission has the power to take decisions to ensure a free and fair poll, and it can postpone or cancel the election in the entire country or a specific state or constituency on the grounds that the atmosphere is vitiated and therefore a free and fair election may not be possible. That means postponing of elections is also power of Election Commission of India. And next, the commission also implements a model code of conduct for parties and candidates. It can order a re-poll in a specific constituency. Okay, so it gives conduct of parties, and also it can order for re-polling. Okay, so next it can also order a recount of votes. So recounting is also done by Election Commission of India when it feels that the counting process has not been fully fair and just. Okay, so next, the Election Commission accords recognition to political parties and allots symbols to each of them. So symbols allotment is also with Election Commission of India power, and it advises the president whether elections can be held in a state under president's rule in order to extend the period of emergency after 1 year. Okay, so next it advises the governor on matters relating to the disqualifications of the members of state legislatures. And next, coming to the role of Election Commission. Okay, so the Election Commission acts in an impartial manner to protect the sanctity of the election process, and in the past 70 years it conducted 17 general elections to the parliament as well as state legislatures. Okay, so it faced many difficult situations with militants, assassinations, violence, etc. During such incidents, it will postpone the elections. Okay, so elections is a very big and lengthy process, and these are electoral reforms committees, and there are so many committees which are appointed by Government of India. So regarding electoral committees, and next these are electoral reforms. Okay, so these are very important, and what are the reforms which are conducted by the Election Commission of India from after independence to till now means lowering of voting age from 21 years to 18 years, and deputation by Election Commission, and next electronic voting machines, introduction of electronic voting machines, and prohibition on the sale of liquor, number of proposers, death of a candidate, and contestants restricted to 2 constituencies, and next prohibition of arms, effective campaigning period, reduced voting through postal ballot, and next reforms are facility to opt to vote through proxy, and next declaration of criminal antecedents, assets, etc. by candidate, and next free supply of electoral rolls, parties entitled to accept contribution, restrictions imposed on exit polls, and increase in security deposit and voting rights to citizens of India living abroad, and ceiling on election expenditure increased. Okay, so now we have come to the last segment, that is assignment. So these are the important questions from today's topic. So I will read out, I will dictate these questions, and you note down and prepare answers for these questions and learn them for your IP. Okay, so these are very, very important questions for your examination point of view. And first one is explain the functions of election commission in India. So it will be given for 5 marks. So this chapter weightage is 9 marks. So you are going to get one 5 marks question and two 2 marks questions from this chapter, and discuss the election process in India. So it is for 5 marks. And what is representation? So what do you know about territorial representation? And it is for 5 marks. And next one is write a short note on the electoral reform. So it will be given for 2 marks or 5 marks. And what is mean by proportional representation system? So it is for 5 marks. And electronic voting missions, it is for 2 marks. And election offences for 2 marks. Corrupt practices in elections for 2 marks. And role of election commission in India for 2 marks. And composition of election commission, so it is also for 2 marks. So these are the very important questions from this chapter, that is 11th chapter, elections and representations. Okay, so next we are going to conclude this session. Okay, so thank you one and all.
Good morning, my dear students. Good morning, madam. Good morning, sirs. Today we are learning about the second year history, second chapter. What is the second chapter? First of all, we know about the second chapter. First, we know civilization. What is the meaning of the civilization? Civilization means an advanced state of cultural, material development in human society with mutual understanding and dependency became a very useful and practical lifestyle. This is called civilization. Again, I will tell that civilization means an advanced state of cultural, material development in human society with mutual understanding and dependency became a very useful and practical lifestyle. Now, among the oldest civilization, the word Mesopotamia. Some points know about Mesopotamia civilization was a beginner of city life in ancient civilization. Now, what is the oldest civilization? Mesopotamia. So, the name Mesopotamia is derived from Greek word Messes and Potamus. What is that? Messes and Potamus. Messes and Potamus. These two words is Greek words. These two words Greek word, which means middle of river. Messes and Potamus mean is middle of rivers. Mesopotamia was a land between two rivers, that is Euphrates and Tigris. What is the rivers? Euphrates and Tigris. Two rivers. Euphrates, Tigris. These are two rivers, Euphrates and Tigris. The area is now a part of the Republic of Iraq. Republic of Iraq. So, now we look about the second chapter, name is the oldest civilization, Mesopotamia. The oldest civilization, Mesopotamia. What we learn in this chapter? Mesopotamia, persons, writing and city life. Okay, my dears, what is the lesson? The the oldest civilization. What is the civilization? Mesopotamia civilization. It's a oldest civilization. And what we know about in this lesson? Writing and city life. What type of writing and what we learn in this chapter? Some of points I have to told that in this lesson based. First of all, we know about the period of time. What is that? Period of time. Which one's time? Mesopotamia person's period of time. Second point. Political conditions and cities. Political conditions and cities. What is the first point? Period of time. Second point, political conditions and cities. Third point, other towns and the palace. Other towns and the palace. Other towns and the palace. Fourth point. What type of condition in economic? So, economic conditions. Economic conditions in this lesson based. Fifth point. Society. What is that? Society. Sixth point. Temples and jiggurats. What is that? Jiggurats. Jatai, G-G-U-R-A-T-S. Jiggurats. And last one, cultural condition. This is the base the oldest civilization, Mesopotamia, writing and city life. These 7 points we learn in this lesson. Okay, my dears? In these 7 points, we learn about the Mesopotamia civilization. So, one by one after one, I will told the topics. First of all, period of time. What is the period of Mesopotamia time? Second one, political conditions and cities. Third, other towns and the palace. Fourth, economic conditions. Fifth, society. Sixth, temples and ziggurats. Seventh one, cultural conditions. Now, we discuss about the first point, period of time. Okay, I arrange the 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 points. So, first we learn period of time. What is the period of time in Mesopotamia? In course of time, civilization of Mesopotamia spread to different regions. Okay? In course of time, civilization of Mesopotamia spread to different regions. In the beginning, the civilization confined to south and the summer the Akkad. A-K-K-A-D. Akkad. Which direction? South direction. Which direction we find the Mesopotamia? South direction. And which persons we know about that? Akkad. A-K-K-A-D. Summer Akkad were the center of civilization. Present there we the Mesopotamia place Iraq. Okay, my dears? Iraq. 2000 BC, Babylon became a 1100 BC. Which BC we know about that? 2000 BC to 2000 BC to 1100 BC. We know about which city? Babylon city. Babylon city. Babylon city. 2000 BC to 1100 BC. Babylon city. Now we look about the Mesopotamia timeline. We look about the Mesopotamia timeline. Look at this. 3500 BC. What we learn? Cities and growing. Which type of growing and cities? Mesopotamia linked. Okay. Which year? 3500 BC. And one more doubt. What is the meaning of BC? And what is the meaning of AD? What is the meaning of BC and what is the meaning of AD? BC means before Christ. BC means before Christ. AD means unadmired. Okay? 3200 BC, record keeping tablets, not tablets. Okay? 3200 BC, record keeping tablets. 3000 BC, Sumerians used signs to write. It's a sign means your sign like this. It's my signature, short for sign. And pronunciation equal to signs, but not a sign, sign. 2800 BC, ruler Gilgamesh. 2800 BC, ruler Gilgamesh. 2400 BC, cuneiform. 2400 BC, cuneiform. 2300 BC, Sumerian cities united by accordions. We learn about the accordion in the introduction part. Okay? 2300 BC, Sumerian cities united by accordions. 1900 BC, accordion language. 1900 BC, accordion language. What is the accordion language? We know about the some points. Okay? 1800 BC, Hammurabi. 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 Unities, Mesopotamia. 400 BC, Alexander defeats. 400 BC, Alexander defeats. This is the Mesopotamia timeline. Okay? Now we know about the Mesopotamia timeline. So, second point. What is that second point? Political conditions and cities. Political conditions and cities. Second point, political conditions and cities. What cities will learn in this Mesopotamia civilization? One person we know the political conditions and city. And Ur, city of Ur and Babylon place. One is city of Ur. City of Ur. U-R. It's called Ur. What is the meaning of Ur and which time excavation in the city of Ur? Ur city excavation 1930. Which year? 1930. We are excavation in city of Ur. One of the earliest cities have been found excavations, one of the earliest cities have been found. Wood town is one. The silent features of the town were narrow winding. What is that? Narrow winding. Narrow winding. Streets indicate that wheeled carts could not have reached many of the houses. What is that? Many of the houses. Many of the houses. The houses were planned so as to light come from doorways but not from windows. Light came from which place? Doorways, not a windows. There was a town cemetery at Wood in which the groves of royalty and commoners have been found. There was a town committee at Wood in which the groves of royalty or royalty. Royalty or royalty. Royalty or royalty. This is three important points view of city of Wood. Which year excavation Wood city? 1930. What important in the Wood city points? Narrow winding and many of the houses and royalty or royalty. This is the first city of the Ur in civilization. What civilization? Mesopotamia. Now, which occupied place is Mesopotamia? Iraq. Remember in our minds, present place is Mesopotamia is a Iraq. IRAQ. This is the first city. Now, okay, we learn first city. What is this first city? City of Ur. And what about second city? Babylon city. Babylon city. What is the importance of Babylon city? Babylon was a premier city of the world. Be careful, my dears. Babylon was a premier city of the world. Spread over more than 850 hectares. How many hectares? 850 hectares. 850 hectares occupied in the Babylon city. And this was a city with triple wall. Triple wall. Triple wall. Great palace and temples. Great palace. Great palace and temples. We know about the Babylon city. How many hectares? He spread out the 850 hectares. What we learn about the Babylon city importance? Triple wall, great palace, temples, and in 539 BC, which year? 539 BC. 539 BC. Archuments, Iran conquers Babylon and until 331 BC. Until 331 BC. Which year? 631 BC. When Alexander conquered Babylon was a great city. Most important point of view. When Alexander conquered Babylon was a great city. What person? Which person? Tell me about the name. Alexander. Okay? Alexander. Alexander. Now, third point. Political conditions and cities. First point is city of Ur, and second point Babylon city, and third point Gilgamesh epic. I have erased the board. What is the third point? Gilgamesh epic. Gilgamesh epic. What is the meaning of epic? Epic means a long poem. Okay? Epic means a long poem. Typically, one derived from ancient oral condition. Ancient oral condition. Narrating the deeds and adventures of heroic. The past history of a nation. Again I will tell the epic means a long poem, typically one derived from ancient oral condition. Narrating the deeds and adventures of heroic, the past history of a nation. Okay? What we learn in the Gilgamesh, who is a Gilgamesh? He is a person or a place name. Okay? Now, introduce the Gilgamesh talk. Okay? It is a very interesting. What type of interesting? It is a some movie. Okay, my dear? Some movie. What type of movie? It is fighting movie? Thriller movie? What? Okay, now introduction. Gilgamesh epic. This was written on 12 tablets. 12 tablets. Gilgamesh, a ruler of Uruk city. Which city? Uruk. What's this? Uruk. Uruk city was a great hero. Uruk city, famous person lived. The name is Gilgamesh. Okay? Uruk city lived famous person. Name is Gilgamesh. So, how was he and who was he? He ruled of the Uruk city. Okay? He was a helped many poor people. He was a helped many poor people. But he was shocked. Okay? He was shocked with the death of his best friend. He was shocked with the death of his best friend. And he set out to find the secret of immortality. Okay? Again I will tell that he was shocked with the death of his best friend. And he set out to find the secret of immortality. But he found no answer. It's a God gives death and birth. So no one can find that. Okay? Only evidences which one person lived and which one person dead. Okay? This is the evidences. But why he died and when he died, how many years he lived, we can't understand. understand and you can't find out. Then he composed himself by walking along the city wall. Then he consoled himself by the walking along the city wall. He takes consolation the city. He takes consolation in the city that his people had built. That his people had built. This is the Gilgamesh epic. Once again, I repeat that Gilgamesh story. He had one of the best friend, but the friend was suddenly dead. But he can't find out the best friend's death. So that he consoled himself by walking along the city wall. He takes consolation, the city that his people had built. It is a Gilgamesh epic, and what we learn in the political conditions and cities, 3 subtopics we learn. First one, city of Ur. City of Ur. And second one, Babylon city. Second one, Babylon city. And third one, Gilgamesh epic. Which city in this story? Uruk. Uruk city. Okay? This is the political conditions and cities. Okay? So, are you understand in these points, all of you? Are you understand in these points? Once again, I will tell the you. Okay? And third topic is other towns and the palace. Once remember our topics. First point, period of time. And second, political conditions. Political conditions and cities. Now we all know about the third point, other towns and the palace. Now we know about the other towns and the palace. In this point, what we learning materials. Okay? Another town excavated in this civilization was Abu Salabik. The name is Abu Salabik. ABUSalabikh. Abu Salabik. It belongs to 2500 BC with 10,000 population. How much population? 10,000 population and expanded about 10 hectares. Which hectares? 10 hectares. And how many people's population? 10,000 population. Which belongs the year 2500 BC. The archaeologists excavated very deep into the soil and found a large quantity, not quality, quantity of soil of fish bones was found. Again I will repeat the second point. The archaeologists excavated very deep into the soil and found a large quantity of fish bones was found. Archaeologists also recognized that pigs must have roamed free here. Okay? Again I repeat that. Archaeologists also recognized that pigs must have roamed free here. Another grand excavation, the palace at Mari. Are you listening the Mari? It is a place at great excavation, a place, the name is Mari. It is not a Dhanush movie. It is a civilization palace. Okay now? Sorry. Civilization place that's called is Mari. What is the important place Mari? The royal residency of King Jemalian, Jedi, M-R-I-L-L-I-A-N. Okay? Jedi, M-R-I-L-L-I-A-N. Jemalian, dated 1810 to 1760. Okay? 1810 to 1760 BC were excavated the Mari place. This place was hub of administration. This place was hub of administration. A place for production and especially of precautions, metal and ornaments. Okay? A palace for production and especially of previous precautions, metal and ornaments. The palace was a sprawling structure. The palace was a sprawling structure. What structure? Mari sprawling structure with 260 rooms. How many rooms? 260 rooms. And covered an area of 2.4 hectares. 2.4 hectares. What we learn in the Mari place? Mari place located in the rooms 260 rooms and hectare is 2.4. Structure is sprawling structure. This is the oldest civilization Mesopotamia writing and city life linked of the some point of view lesson. We are learning about the 3 subtopics in this lesson base. One is period of time, second one is political conditions and cities, and third point other towns and the palace. I think you are understanding like that. Again, I repeat the overall lesson. Again, I remember the total topic discussion. What we in this period will learn. Okay? Okay? Now, what we learn the lesson, the oldest civilization, Mesopotamia. Writing and city life. It is second unit, our second year history. Okay? And what we learn in the Mesopotamia civilization. We learn about the civilization means, and Mesopotamia comes from two Greek words. What is this? Mesos and Potamus. And it derived into 2 rivers. Again I will told that it derived into 2 rivers. And what is the meaning of one is Euphrates, second one is Tigris. So, which places now called Mesopotamia is Iraq. And we are knowing about the period of time. So, what is the period of time? We will learn about the period Mesopotamia timeline. 3500 BC, cities growing. 3200 BC, record keeping tablets. 3000 BC, Sumerians used sand to write. 2800 BC, ruler Gilgamesh. Who is the city? Who is the person? Gilgamesh. Learn about that. Which place? Uruk city. Okay. He was best story. He was friend. His friend was died. 2400 BC, cuneiform. We learn about the language material. Okay. 2300 BC, Sumerian cities united by Akkadians. 1900 BC, Akkadian language. What is the difference between languages and who is the Sumerian and Akkadians? We know about the societies. Okay. 1800 BC, Hammurabi unites Mesopotamia. And 400 BC, Alexander defeats. This is the Mesopotamia timeline. And what is the political conditions and cities? About the three cities in the political conditions. One is Ur, and second one is Babylon. Okay. Third one is Gilgamesh. Epic. Okay. Gilgamesh epic. We'll learn the political conditions and cities. Three subtopics. One is the city of Ur, and second one Babylon city, and third one Gilgamesh epic. Okay. This is the second viewpoint, political conditions and cities. And what about third one? Other towns and the palace. We know about some movie introduction name that's called Mari. Okay. How many rooms in this place? 260 rooms and 2 to 4 hectares, and spelling and structure 10,000 population, 10 hectares is a Gilgamesh place. This is the other towns and the palace. Okay, various. Now various. In this topic, vocabulary words we learn. Vocabulary words. First one is civilization. Civilization. Pronunciation is civilization. 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 And second vocabulary word is Mesopotamia. 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 Okay. One is civilization. Second one is Mesopotamia. And third one is Sumerians. SUMARANS. Sumerians. SUMARANS. R-I-A-N-S, Sumerians. And fourth vocabulary word is cuneiform. Cuneiform. C-U-N-E-I-F-O-R-M. Cuneiform. And fifth one is Akkadian. Akkadian. A-K-K-A-D-I-A-N. Akkadian. So these is the 5 vocabulary words based on this session. It is not completed the lesson. This session is completed. I told us 7 points, but we are explaining the time is 3 subtopics. Remaining subtopics next session. So, my dears, read carefully and have you any doubts? Please ask me any doubts. Okay. Thank you. And listen carefully and read well. And don't ending the lesson. Now I continue the next session in this